Hello and welcome back to the Rockies franchise here in the finale of Season 2, as we'll be doing some more simulation, watching some games, player locking some players, and ending off this season that has been quite disappointing so far. I originally came in wanting to win around 70 games maybe. Well, we have not come close to that. First of all, let's take a look at this draft class as we find I whiffed on Alejandro Villafuerte. 63 overall day 1, 79 potential, only one higher than his floor potential. This maybe was not the best draft pick. We'll look at who I was passing on Paul Norris later. Colt Yamada, however, starts off at 69 and has a B+ potential. So this one was a good pick, 87. And then Jared Papas, a real big winner here. Only 60 overall to start, but we'll, at 18 years old, we'll start him down in AA. It'll be fine. He'll work his way up. But A- potential there at 92. He could be a really good pitcher in this league for years to come. And then Jackie Sweat, 57 overall, but B potential, 96 stamina. He just needs to develop his skills and he will be solid too. How about Billy Kelly, already 68 overall as a starting pitcher, B potential, 92 stamina, not bad at all. How about Bobby Beck, kind of just took a blind shot on him, didn't have any scouting, only 10%. Well, 60 overall, 80 potential, that's not too bad. And then Lincoln Harris starts off at 68, has high C+ potential. This is a good pick for, starting the next few years maybe. Let's look at some other picks. The number 1 pick in the draft, Carmen Cabrera for the Pirates. This is a win, although he only had one higher potential than his floor. But 75 overall day 1 and 89 potential. He's going to be really good. Definitely some areas for him to work on, however. Sean Gutierrez for the Padres, another player that only had one more potential than their floor. This was a swing and a miss for the Padres, maybe even harder than Villafuerte was, or around the same, I'd say. Gus Heinlein was a win though for the White Sox, and I definitely was interested in drafting him. 67 overall with 88 potential, he'll be pretty solid. They also got Oscar Ramos, a 19-year-old closing pitcher here, 63 overall on day 1, and pretty high A potential there. How about Guillermo Gonzalez to the Brewers? I really was wanting to bring him in. He got drafted right before I could pick, and the Brewers walked away with a 91 potential player, really solid. And then the player I missed out on, Paul Norris, starts off with 72 overall, 90 potential. This was a big whiff by me. Now the H per 9 is pretty low, but this would have been a solid player we could build around for the future. Sometimes you just miss. It's just how it goes down sometimes. They also got another A player there. Rick St. Louis, talking about shortstops. How about a 72 overall with A potential? This was the other shortstop I was interested in. We passed on him, and of course he's really good. I'm still excited for Villafuerte, but obviously the ceiling not quite as high. Let's go ahead and take a look at another low ceiling player that I'm really excited for nonetheless. That's Robbie Bush with that C+ potential. I really hope we can get his potential up a little bit because he's playing so darn well down at AA. We'll watch some of his games here as he gets the strike inside the zone there. Now full count 3-2. And the 4-seamer is jammed. Actually will be dropped here. So that's a single. Already one base hit. And then this 4-seamer's fouled off. Bush ahead 1-2. And he nails the batter in the shoulder blade. So not a great start. Not a good first inning here for Robbie Bush. This one's called a strike on the inside. I don't agree with that call whatsoever. And then Bush with the slider outside, stays in the zone too. That's a really nice pitch right there. 2-seamer inside, 91 miles per hour. There's a pretty decent array here for Robbie Bush that he can throw. He's got the curveball, the 2-seamer, the 4-seamer obviously that hits about 96 miles per hour, and then the slider. So I think he's got a pretty good basic combination of pitches. Then here we get a pop fly on the 2-seamer that's an out. Perfect game so far for Robbie. Now 2 away. The curveball popped up and he says, you know what, I'll actually do it myself. Robbie Bush fielding some, pitching some, it does not matter. He has such a high WAR, actually higher than Dave Peace on this AA team. He's playing so well this year. Now this is a line drive that's actually not grabbed, so that's going to be a single. 1 away here in the 3rd. And then the 4-seamer draws a strike. The whiff there. And we're 2 away, full count. This one jammed up, caught, and that's the end of the 3rd. Robbie Bush playing really well to start this game. Now here in the 5th, and this one's jammed and won't be caught. Not exactly a lot of speed there in left field for us. So there's a single again. And then this one hit. That's another single as Dave Peace kind of just trots at that one. I'm not really sure why he was running so slowly. Now 2 on base, 1 runner in scoring position, and the 2-seamer popped up. That one also falls in the field, throwing home. Throw not made in time. Robbie doesn't turn around to see it, but Somerset will score 1 run. Zach Veen now at AA. And here's the double play made, and we end the 5th down 1. 1 run given up by Robbie. It is an earned run, however. Now here, bottom of the 6th, really nice corner 4-seamer there. And then we found out Robbie Bush has some tightness in his forearm. That will end his day. We'll get to watch a little bit of the other pitchers now as we step out of player lock. McKenzie Jackson jams this one up in the air for Gonzalez. And Dave Peace easily runs underneath that one. Jackson's had a pretty decent season so far. The numbers don't quite show as elite as Bush, as Wade Ames, Philip Chang, Bruno Jaquez. But he's been another one of our solid draft picks, I think, to this point. Has a pretty decent ceiling as well. And that's a strikeout. Really nice pitch there on the curveball. I actually, before this episode, did some research on what types of pitching you should throw. As Zach Veen, what are you doing, buddy? Dave Peace has to run this one down. That's going to be a triple if he can make it in, and he easily does. Yeah, I was doing some research on what kind of sequencing you want for pitching, different pitches, I suppose, what the different types of pitches are. I do think I'm actually going to change my pitching animation next year. Or I guess, I don't know if it's the animation, but currently we have, it shows exactly where the ball is supposed to be placed with the track of how the ball is going to be thrown. I actually want to move more to where it shows where the ball is with a slight indicator on where it's going to be. I can't really show it here, but Philip Chang coming in, getting some strikes. This one, Bernabel catches it. Will not throw it to base in time, though, as he reaches. So I think I feel a lot more comfortable with pitching as Chang actually walks the batter here. And I'm going to trust my gut a little more next season. I know that you're supposed to primarily throw fastballs to kind of warm up your other pitches, work around the plate, and then maybe throw around the plate with some breaking balls. We'll see. I think I've got a fair grasp on what to do based on opposite versus same-handed hitters. But again, it's all research. I'm learning the game as Bruno Jaquez comes in to hold this game, as it's not a save attempt. Levine catching that one, and we will go to extra innings. So Jaquez with a 1-run lead, and it is now officially a save attempt. First out is away. Runner obviously in scoring position as the slider draws the strike out. 2 away. This one hit right to Bernabel, and that will be thrown out at first as the Yard Goats win on a Bruno Jaquez save. So pretty good pitching all around. We gave up 1 run all game with Robbie Bush, McKenzie Jackson, and Philip Chang, and Bruno Jaquez all show up strong here as well. Looking through the month of August here, it was a struggle. Although I will say we actually won more than usual. I guess maybe just under half of our games were won. But a few series we took away. Not too many though. Toronto, you can see we won that series, but most of these series were lost or split at best. I'm going to look at some stats here as we go to September call-ups. And so far, Justin Turner's numbers have dropped a decent bit, but he's still doing very well, especially for his overall. Nolan Jones dropping a fair bit here in his batting average, but still progressing and getting higher in overall. Vinny Montgomery playing really well as a rookie, center fielder. Really intrigued by what he can bring to the team, not a very high ceiling on him. Tovar falling a bit, Zeke Crone still hovering around 24%. And then Yonkiel Fernandez, this experiment has not quite worked. I think we will be sending him back down. As Tovar and Wong have above a 2 WAR. Nolan Jones and Indy Rodriguez right at 1.4. Very surprising on Nolan Jones. I don't know if I understand this. Maybe it's the fielding. I'm not really sure. And then pitching. James Karinchak has been atrocious this season. Oscar Yanoa and Brendan Beck have been fine, but honestly, the pitching's just not where I want it to be yet. I think we've got some okay pitchers, but none of them should be top 3 or top 4, probably even, in a starting lineup. 1.5 WAR for Buehler, 1.1 for Daniel Palencia, who's honestly been our second best pitcher. Of course, he does throw that flamethrower fastball, can hit 101 with it. And then down at AA, or AAA rather, Michael Tolia doing really well. Sean Bouchard has been knocking it out of the park all season. Definitely looking to bring him up as one of my September call-ups. And then pitching here, look at WAR. Chase Dollander throwing 4.4 WAR. Ryan Feltner 2.3. And then Cobb, Gomber, and Tinley all around 1.5. Milner 1.1. So okay pitching across the board at AAA. Nothing fantastic, but not bad. Down at AA, Dave Peace is a monster, and you can see he's gotten some progression, +7 to contact the lefties. Hasn't gotten a ton of power still. I probably will look to start training him on power a little bit. Stolen bases around 78%. Really solid numbers from him. Definitely going to look to bring him up to AAA. Probably not this season, but maybe next season. We'll see. I don't think he's going to start next season for us, just because I don't know that he'll get enough playtime. WAR of 5.3 for him is out of this world. And then pretty good numbers across the board. Now looking at the pitching, McMahon, Bush, Ames, Chang, Hawkes, all sporting really, really solid numbers. All sub 2.5 ERA. Actually, Ames at 2.7. And then Whips pretty much below 1.5. Really excellent across the board here. Mackenzie Jackson, the only one that's a little higher, but even he's doing well, I think. And then looking at the WARs, 5.4 for Robbie Bush, 3.7 for Ames, 3.7 for McMahon. Mackenzie Jackson at 1.4. Actually, that WAR's a lot higher than Hawkes and Chang, probably just because they've gotten more play. As we find out another AAA news here, the Reds have just called up Jason Kobayashi to their Major League roster. I don't necessarily disagree with this move, but I think by this point in the season, I'm not sure it's the right call. Kobayashi does get called up though, exciting for him. And then Sean Bouchard for the Rockies will be called up to the majors. I think it's beyond time to get him up. Yanquiel Fernandez, the experiment just didn't quite work, but I do want to see in spring training next year with him on the 40-man roster. I'm fine with blowing an option on him. Same with Chase Dollander. I don't know if Dollander will make the team, but I want to go ahead and add him to the 40-man roster and start working him into that area. As one of our September call-ups, we will player lock Chase Dollander and see what he's got at the majors. His first ever major league pitching here should preserve his rookie status, I believe. I can't remember how many innings pitched it is before you are no longer a rookie. But gets to go off against the White Sox here. So the Sox, obviously not a great team to start this franchise, but they have a lot of solid prospects, and they could definitely ascend quickly here. As Elohory Montero actually can't grab this ball. I don't know if the ball's got grease on it or what. Couldn't grab it twice. That's an E5 error. I'm not sure what E5 means. And then slider inside. Chase Dollander gets his very first major league strikeout here on Zavala. In comes Eloy Jimenez, batting .325 on the season. That's got to be close to a batting title. I'm not sure. And here's another miss. Now 3-2 count full for Chase Dollander. And the miss inside with the fastball. No shame in walking a .325 batter, but a little disappointing on that pitch. Then he leaves the fastball right up the middle. This one carrying, and caught, actually. Really nice play there from Sean Bouchard playing that center field. Or actually, Benny Montgomery. I got the wrong person there. Benny Montgomery, the rookie center fielder. As Montgomery gets a hit, not the Benny. And then Gonzalez pops this up. That's going, and Nolan Jones can't track it down as the White Sox will score 1. They'll score 2, and that'll be an RBI double, or a 2-run double, I suppose. Not looking good for the White Sox here, or the Rockies rather, in the second inning, as no outs on the inning yet, and we're still getting some hits. This will score another runner, as that's going to be an RBI single for Quero. Dollander really struggling here in the second. Just wanted to get out of it. This one, can we get the double play? Yes, we can. Double play there on Benintendi. 3-6-3. And last out of the inning. This one jammed right to second. That's an out. We do get out of the second inning, but that is 3 runs given up for Dollander. Top of the third now. This one hit sharply down the line left field, and that is fair, according to the line judge. And that will be a double for 39 speed, and he's safe. Dollander really starting to have the wheels come off here in the third inning. This one's crushed, and Nolan Jones not even going to waste his breath or his time. Yohan Moncada hits this one way out of the park. And now that's 5 runs to 0. Rockies would score 4 in simulation, however, as this one's going to be fair. Montero can't grab it. And that scores yet another run. 6 runs in the game for Chase Dollander. That would be his game as the manager would come out and relieve him. Dollander's day is done. Really, really underwhelming first start here at the major leagues. But it happens sometimes. You get rocked. The Rockies actually ended up winning this game, by the way, so all things considered, not too bad. The relievers came in and gave up no runs. The Rockies scored 10. 3 hits for Nolan Jones as Tovar, Montero, and Indy Rodriguez all would go yard. Really, really solid game from them. Vinny Montgomery getting some hits here. Sean Bouchard. Really, really impressed with what I saw from the offense and simulation, of course. Kyle Gibson and Phil Bickford, some players that we added from free agency just to kind of buffer the roster, come in and play really well. The Yard Goats have actually clinched their division and the best record in their league. The Isotopes currently first, but unfortunately would fall 79-71 and not make the postseason. So the Yard Goats playing against Portland here. And we are going to watch some of this game. We're going to play player lock as Dave Peace. Wanted to see what he could do. Really excited to get him behind the bat, but it's been a struggle for me so far with his height. It's hard to figure out the pitches I should swing at. You see right there, the changeup gets me. That one a little slow. And then this one popped up quite a bit underneath that, the 2-seamer. Huge fly ball here that gets caught even in the foul area there. Dave Peace, second at bat, swings and misses on the 4-seamer. Now behind 0-1, Dave Peace connects with this one, and it's a huge hit. It's got carry, and it's gone. Dave Peace goes yard here in my first player lock with him. This was fun to see. I haven't really gotten a good hit in with Dave Peace this season, and he absolutely crushes this ball. Of course, we know with Peace, his game is not power, it's contact. He's definitely a contact hitter. You're expecting to get several bases with him and then start running the bases with his speed, but not a lot will, I think, he go yard. That sounds like Yoda talk, that one. But Dave Peace then lines out here to first. And then Peace pops this one up. That's going to be a fly out there. Infield fly rule is in effect. Nobody tests, of course. And Peace is out again. So 1 for 4 on the day, but one of those being a home run. And this one will get hit right to right field. That's a base hit. Runner advancing to third, and he's safe. So Peace may be able to drive in another run, however. And then something weird happens. I just take off with Dave Peace. I meant to hit extend lead and not advance, but Dave Peace just starts sprinting. We do win that game, however. That was goofy, but Dave Peace getting a home run, that really did feel special to hit with him. I think he's got the tools it takes to go yard more often than we see with that power. Bruno Honka is now in, trying to hold a 6-5 lead here in the 8th as the setup man for Castro. And this one will advance a runner to second, as that is a single. And the Yard Goats just trying to hold firm here on Portland. This one a strikeout on the slider. Nice throw there by Hawkes, who's had a tremendous season. And then this one's popped up. Restituyo giving chase, and he will play that one. That's a catch. End of the 8th inning, and Hawkes does his job. Castro checking in. The strikeout for the game on the slider outside. Really nice pitch there from Castro. And the Yard Goats win again here over Portland. Actually, I forgot to mention, they were down 2-0 in this series. Reverse sweep being chased here as Peace will not extend or give us a hit here. That's definitely playable at center field. Down 2-0 in the final game. Game 5. Dave Peace pops this one up underneath it once again. Most of this was my timing, however. I don't really fault Dave Peace for it. I think he got some decent contact considering. Now making a play in the field. Dave Peace, pretty simple routine play here. Makes it. And we're all knotted up 2-2. Peace hits this one in the right field, and that's going to be a base hit. 2 runners will go home off that one. And the Yard Goats, oh, Peace actually starts to take off here. I, again, hit the button. When they threw home, I kind of should have gone for it, but I didn't. Now my manager says it's a steal situation. I don't extend my lead at all. So this is an easy draw here for Portland. I should have probably gotten a little more of a lead before taking off, but I didn't really time that one right. Now Dave Peace fielding once again as we have a 2-run lead. He runs by it. This will score 1 runner. So Portland getting close back to within this game and throwing this one to third. Nice sequence there by me on the buttons. Unfortunately not able to get it to third base all the way. Maybe should have been a relay throw. But we're ahead 1. Peace pops this one up. And he's out. So not going to help extend this lead, but the Yard Goats do pull off the reverse sweep here and win the best of 5 over Portland. Really glad to contribute to that with Dave Peace, and then of course Bruno Jaquez, really solid. Team was really hyped for this one. This was a lot of fun to play. I love playing the minor leagues. I actually think that's probably the most fun part of franchise, and I'm so excited to see these players advance to our major roster. Let's go ahead and look at the final season stats before they go away for the playoffs here. I actually did record this before the minor league series, but of course, playoffs, it wipes out all the stats. WAR goes to Ezekiel Tovar with Nolan Jones having 2.3. I thought a lot of our role players did amazingly this year. Really impressed with some of them. I think it's the star power and the free agency signings other than Colton Wong that didn't really work out. Here are some pitching numbers as Chase Dollander, far and away our best AAA pitcher here, and wasn't too bad in his time actually simulating. That first game I played with him, not necessarily indicative of how good he was here in the majors. 4 games started, 1 win only, but no losses. 26 innings pitched. Didn't give up too many hits, 1.06 whip, 3.4 ERA. Not too bad. Batting average king for the National League goes to Corbin Carroll. Not bad season here. And then home runs, Matt Olson. Juan Soto second at 40, but a 20 lead gap for Matt Olson and the Braves. Olson's kind of differentiated himself as one of the top hitters in the league. And unfortunately here, losing to Erie. I said I would jump into the final game of the series, I guess, or the 4th game maybe, if we could win on our own. And we got swept. So unfortunately, Dave Peace's playoffs come to an end. And I think that's the last he'll be seeing of the Yard Goats. He will at least be starting AAA next season. And how about the normal playoffs? Well, it's another rematch here of the Twins and the Dodgers. And the Dodgers claim revenge from Season 1. They defeat the Twins to win the 2025 World Series. Congratulations to our division rival. We're coming for that crown. I don't know when that'll be, though. Looking at this final roster, I think some upgrades need to come. I will be streaming the offseason on Saturday, and you better believe we are looking to throw some money around and get some stars here in Colorado. Thank you so much for watching this season, everyone. Hopefully next season's a little longer. I'll see you later. Have a good one.